Hi guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm reviewing season 2, episode 5 of the Gilded Age. We are breezing right along through this season. I'm playing catch up from Thanksgiving so we can be current for Sunday's new episode. So let's just dive right in. I have to confess, this episode really heated up. The stakes got a little bit higher, a lot of bit higher for the Black people, but that's just America and capitalism anyway, so we knew that. But I was really actually also pulled in by the very low stakes of this dinner with the Duke. So let's just dive right in because we have a lot to cover. They also gave us a lot of like real historical references. I learned a little bit like, okay, I know some new names and things. So we're in Newport gearing up for this big dinner for the Duke. Larry Russell is acting out. He went out and tied one on with one of his good friends from Harvard, and they got wasted and they ended up breaking Bertha's good china and whatnot. But Larry is still heartbroken because his mama broke him up with his girlfriend. And Bertha is like, I'm gonna send you back to New York so that way you won't even be so triggered by the memory of this old lady that she was loving on. So Larry goes back to New York and him and Marion reconnect. I am so hopeful that Larry and Marion will get together. I feel like it's a good match, but I'm questioning if Bertha will think that Marion is good enough for Larry. Let me know what y'all think about that. They also feel like, you know what, Larry needs something to do. So Larry doesn't really want to go into the family business as far as like what his dad does. He wants to go into architecture. So his dad says, listen, the Brooklyn Bridge is supposed to be being built, but nobody can really pin down the guy who's over it. He's been quite elusive. So slide over there, see if you can get the tea, see if you can find out what's going on. Larry goes over it. I'm going to tell you something that I admire when I watch period pieces where there's like a mystery or some sort of intrigue. I feel like people back then had to be so much more savvy because they didn't have the same historical reference that we have. They didn't have resources that we have. So you really had to just be like, I have a hunch. I'm going to go with this hunch. And the hunch be right. Even though we know fictional, but whatever. This is actually based on a true story. There is a real life woman whose name let me find you, Emily Roebling. And she was married to the man who took over building the Brooklyn Bridge from his father who got sick, like his toes got crushed in an accident. And then you guys Google it because I don't want this video to go too long. It's a really interesting story. This is a true thing that, not that this woman single-handedly was responsible for the engineering and management or whatever of the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge. She did learn what she learned in partnership with her father-in-law and her husband. But it is incredible that marginalized people, including white women, I know, but to think that people wouldn't even want to walk across a bridge because they might not trust that the structure is sound if they knew that a woman built it. And I think we still kind of deal with that in modern times. Like there are people who don't want to see Black doctors because they don't believe that a Black doctor actually learned the same way that a white doctor learned. It's like, oh, it's probably diversity higher. And those are things that we still deal with today, like years and years removed. So, George seems to be coming around to seeing the humanity of his workers. Now, his business partner is very much like, no, if you give in to their demands now, it's a slippery slope. It's going to take away from profits. The bottom line is going to suffer. And George is like, what is the harm in giving these people this 888 concept? What's the harm of letting them, have time with their families? I think that they are George is vastly underestimating what it means when people don't have anything to lose. They will fight. And I Googled, Johann Most is a real socialist who believed that, was a real life socialist who believed that you should use violence and agitation as far as the working class to rise up against the people who are oppressing you. So if he's in Pittsburgh stirring up trouble and letting these people know, like, don't let these folk play in your face like this. If y'all gotta fight, because y'all ain't got shit to lose anyway. Yeah, I want to see George's humanity and see that he sees the humanity of the working class. I'm hopeful that his business partner will actually be on the receiving end of the violence, actually. But American greed is American greed. And guess what that is? Capitalism. So Bertha has sourced the best and the brightest staff for this dinner with the Duke. So she's borrowing footmen and butlers and ladies' maids and all kind of stuff from neighboring houses, just to make sure that, like, if there are any women who need help getting dressed, this dinner is going to be like very, very fancy. We'll need extra, hands on deck and all these things like this, especially because there seems to be like a British way of doing like a formal dinner and an American way. And I think that Bertha is trying to bridge the gap between the two, even down to the menu. So, stakes are high, quote unquote. Of course, Mrs. Astor doesn't come because Mrs. Astor is pissed that Bertha is actually creating competition for her in terms of who's in charge of the girls. Bertha is like, I don't really need you to be in charge of me, but Mrs. Astor has been in charge of the girls this whole time. So Mr. McAllister and Mrs. Fish are like, she might not be here, but she gonna want to know all of the tea. So one of the people who Bertha borrows is a person who works in Turner, aka Mrs. Winterton's house. So they come up with some sort of a ruse to try to like ruin the dinner. And I love when a hating ass bitch's plans get thwarted because of the quick thinking of the support staff. I don't know if they was trying to like sour the soup, spill the hot soup on the Duke, whatever, to just like create some mess. Either way, Church wasn't having it, Watson wasn't having it. The chef was like, oh no, like something is afoot. So they, pulled the server that was gonna like spill this soup or whatever, like on the Duke. I was so, I'm gonna tell you what it was, the music. The music had me like, oh shit, what's about to happen? Again, the stakes are so low, but these people have me by the balls. Like, they keep pulling me in with these low stakes things because what was gonna happen? Wasn't nobody gonna die. It wasn't like it was gonna be a coup. But they had me pulled in, and I appreciate that. That's one of the things that I love about film and television, the role that music can play to really like pull you in and grab you by the balls. And this also goes to show how savvy support staff has to be, because if some shit had gone down, they were absolutely going to blame the support staff. So it's really them protecting themselves, but also protecting the people who they work for. They have like so much loyalty to them. And I just don't feel like they get the attention or the gratitude that they deserve. I say that as someone who works full-time in support staff, not in that capacity, but not too far off. So Maude Beaton sits down with Aurora Fane because she's asking the right questions that she knows to ask about Oscar, where she has no idea about his sexuality, but she does suspect that maybe he's after her money. And she's like, Aurora, level with me, bitch. Like, is this man serious about me, or is he just after my money? And poor Aurora, I think she handled this in as diplomatic a way as possible, where she was like, there's no rush. I really like Oscar. I think Oscar's going to do well for himself, but give it time and draw your own conclusion about him. And Aurora, even being his cousin, is like, I don't really know his intentions either, but I don't really know if it's my place to say, right? So again, I think she handled it as diplomatically as possible. So Oscar is continuing to try to woo Maude Beaton by offering to assist her with like some financial decisions. And again, I can't tell if Oscar is being sincere in wanting to help this girl, or if he is actually trying to access her money, because he does go back to the banker to say like, look, I want to invest as well. And the banker's like, this is a private investment. And Oscar's like, well, y'all need more money for it, y'all take over. I'm here to give y'all more money, so let's just all make more money. And it's just like, Oscar, I don't know if it's his face, but he's just so like snake-like, kind of weaselly, like, I just like a mongoose or something. Like, we just don't trust him. And I'm like, is this insider trading? Y'all know I'm not a numbers bitch, okay? I'm a words bitch. Is this what insider trading is? Is this early on insider trading? Let me know. I didn't even care enough to Google that. So Aunt Ada, our girl, sits everyone down and reveals to them that she's getting married. The plans have been made. She's going to have this person help her with this. And like, Oscar is absolutely thrilled. Marianne is thrilled. And of course, we knew Aunt Agnes was going to be a hating ass bitch. Now, here's what. Putting on my empathy cap, right? Ada is all that Agnes has had for a really long time. so we can understand the fear of being left alone, being abandoned in this world without the sister who has supported you this whole time, right? Like we can level with that. But the amount of cruelty that she expressed to her, telling her that she's never been anything more than a spinster, she don't know how to, you don't even know how to take care of no man, okay? You ain't never even been around a block. What you know about being a wife? All these things like that. And poor Ada is like, I don't know. I have a lot to learn. I'm excited to learn. Like, I've waited my whole life for a man to love me, and now someone has. And at first I was like, okay, is Agnes maybe trying to protect her? Because we know last season that guy was just trying to like get over on our good sis, you know, our Ada. But the Reverend seems like genuinely, wholeheartedly, sincerely in love with this woman. And she's in love with him. And this actually seems like a good match. Now, I'm not the best judge of character in my own dating life, but I trust the Reverend. And I don't even trust Reverends like that. I'd be sneaky. But I'm going to trust this one, okay? Agnes goes and talks to the Reverend, and he's like, baby, you're not going to back me down. I'm here to stay. So whatever you're trying to do, like, you know, I'm here for it. You know, he's here for the long haul. Like, baby, if you want to fight, we can have a fight. And Ada second guesses and, you know, takes up the Reverend's recommendation to talk to Marion first. Don't make any decisions. So they decide to go through with it. And everyone steps up to support Aunt Ada, which I really love for her, because everybody's watched Agnes bully her for so long. Even Bannister was like, I'm going to support my girl. I recommend that you do the same, because you're going to regret not standing up for your sister. Like, that's not cute. You're going to regret that for the rest of your life. Now, here's what. I'm happy that Agnes came around, but bitch, don't make an entrance to my wedding. What are you doing? You can come in with everybody else or like sit out to the side. I done already came in and you think that you can come in after me. It's like, Agnes, every time you try to do right, you still be doing wrong. Oh, that irked me. And I'm not even a wedding person, but if we gonna do it, let's do it right. Don't take the attention off of the bride. Ugh. Anyway, I'm gonna allow it, but whatever. Okay, here's what. We down at Tuskegee, and things are so beautiful. I felt so warm and fuzzy seeing all these relatively newly emancipated people, these young Black people. They have this communal way of living, which is something that I wish we could get back to. But you know, the young women are learning trades so they can do something more than watching white children. I know that's right. And it looks like there's this spirit of independence, this air of feminism of, I want to do what Peggy doing. I want to live in the city. I want to, you know, I want a real job. And they really look up to Peggy as like this icon or this example of what's possible. And it's just so beautiful. And even Mr. Fortune is looking at her like, bitch, you are impressive as fuck. And the glances and the sexual tension is stressing me out. So this one student that they interviewed who he's like, you know, I'm learning how to make crops so that I can provide the food for my mom's restaurant. Y'all should slide through and make sure she take care of y'all, giving very Keith Lee. So they go to the restaurant, and of course, Black people love to feed you. People of color love to feed you. So and I want to know what the food was like. We have it like Christmas, Thanksgiving, was it like turnip greens and stuff? I kind of want to know. I'm always invested in the storyline of the food. But anyway, everything is going great. And because I had the warm and fuzzies, I knew some bullshit was about to happen, because that's how TV works. As a person who's watched a lot of TV since she was fresh out the womb, every time you get the warm and fuzzies, just know that some bullshit is about to come. So of course this white man comes in and wants to let this restaurant owner know, this woman who, this entrepreneur, this bad bitch, this, you know, we out here, we're doing our things. I own this space and I'm providing services and goods for my people, and it's all beautiful. Here come a white man. Want to let her know, he's obviously inebriated, want to let her know that you might be free, but shit ain't different. And he has obviously taken liberties with this woman before and wants to let her know that he still can. And we learned that they have the same last name. So I'm wondering, is he her son's father, or is this just that they came from the plantation that this man owned? And both things can be true. So Mr. Fortune, who is a bit more of a, what do you call it, rabble rouser, like he can't stand by and watch this Black woman being attacked like this. And Peggy is telling him like, please don't. Now here's what, it's not just you that you're putting at risk. They are in a very precarious situation. They have a very precarious peace with the white people in this town so that they can have this college and have this restaurant and have these things. So if you shake the table, you're going to put everyone in danger. So he, pushes the guy, stands up to him, and him and Peggy have to like run off into the night and hide in a barn. And, he's apologizing to Booker T. Washington. And he's like, nigga, we ain't got time for you to be making apologies. Y'all got to get the fuck out of here. And I understand why Mr. Fortune did this, because I have been in situations where I have had white men um, attack me like verbally, and it's a very helpless feeling to think that if this person wants to harm you physically, that they can. I'll tell that story another day, but it's very helpless. And even when you choose to walk away from those things, yeah, you walk away with your life and with your safety, but it takes something from you, and it really sucks. And so I understand why he wanted to stand up for her, but it's also like, this isn't just you standing up for her. You are shaking the table on this very precarious piece that these Black people have with the white people around them. So I kind of hate that he did that. So him and Peggy are in the barn, adrenaline is high, y'all survived a trauma together, and she now understands why her mom didn't want her bringing her ass down there, and she ain't gonna feel safe until she get back above the Mason-Dixon line. I know that's right, girl, the same. And then they kiss. I do not want my girl Peggy to be a mistress. I do not want even the air of she got to where she got because of a man. I hate it. I don't want her to be a mistress. I know that man fine, but so is Peggy, and you can find you another fine Black man. I don't want this storyline for our girl. I don't want our key Black performer to be a mistress. I really don't want that. So we'll see what happens. I loved this episode. The stakes got higher for our Black people, got a little bit higher for our rich white people. And I also love the juxtaposition of the dinner that was significant to the Black people was more intimate, more rustic, more small. And then the white people had this big, fabulous, whatever, whatever. But both really mattered to the people that were there. It mattered to those Black people to be able to, there was a certain amount of dignity. I think that dignity looks different for our characters, but I really loved it. I'm loving the richness of the story, and I'll see you guys for Sunday's episode. We'll talk about it Monday or Tuesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, join our Patreon, and we'll talk soon. Bye.